What's up, it's your boy Dragon back with another video, man. Today I'm gonna be showing y'all how to make thumbnail like Brucedropemoff, Cenat, you feel me? Anybody that got thumbnails like that. So the video help you out, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, you feel what I'm saying? And if you like the content that you see, drop a like on the video, cause I will be dropping more like this. You feel me? And if y'all like this hoodie, drop a like on the video. But all that being said, let's get straight into it, man. You know what it is, boy Dragon. Let's get it. Alright, man. So when you making these thumbnails, obviously you gotta have your screenshots, and these gonna be two images I'm gonna be using right here. This image of my boy LaRock and this image of I Show Speed and Ronaldo. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna be using this for the main image, and this is gonna be an image on the right side of the thumbnails because they tend to be how they make. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is go to File, New, and I want to put 1280 by 720, and I am using Photoshop, but you can use Photopea, whatever you want to call it, to make these thumbnails also. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, join my Discord. I be in there about every day. You can just join the call, ask me a couple questions, but yeah, let's get straight to it. Alright, so with this image right here, whatever image you have, you could either right click and copy the image, because about every image will work like that, or you can right click and save your image, which is what I'm going to do right here. Alright, and I'm also going to get this image right here, right click and save it, or you can right click and copy the image. Now that you have the images, you'll just go into Photoshop, file, open, and you can bring them in. So I didn't address this. For the people that did want to copy the image, what you'll simply do is just come in here and hit Control V once you're done copying the image, and it'll simply paste if you want to do that. But I do have a tutorial on that, so just go on my channel. But yeah, just hit Control C on this right here, come over here and hit Control V, and what we're going to be doing is making this image bigger. So we'll just click on this, make sure you have your show transform controls on, and we will make this image about a size similar to this right here. So just mess with the size until you feel like it's okay. Alright, so I went with the size right here, and now that I have the image in here, what I'm gonna do is click on it and go to filter and go to camera raw filter. So now we're in camera raw filter. What you want to do is zoom in with this magnifying glass, and you want to go over here to noise reduction, and you want to up this by a lot, and you also want to add some sharpening onto the image. So the trick I like to do about this, I like to always have my sharpening higher than my noise reduction, but have both of them high, because you want to see the sharpening kind of kick in. So you will see, if we took this off, you can already see a difference. But just follow something along those lines, and also you want to add a little bit of texture to the image. But I'm gonna mess with this, and I'll be back with y'all once I'm done. Alright, so now that I'm done doing this right here, what I'm gonna do is hit Control and the plus symbol and zoom in and actually cut this out. So what I'm gonna be cutting this out with is the pen tool, and you can just hit P on your keyboard to go to this right here, and you just want to cut out this image. Now I'm gonna speed this part up, but once I get done, I'll tell you all what to do next. And if you do have trouble cutting out this image, I have several tutorials on my channel that you can search up, and I will make sure to leave one in the description below. Alright, so once you get done cutting out the image, you just want to right click, make selection. I like to have my filter radius on 1. You want to hit OK, and after this, what we're going to do is go over here, click on this mask, and now that we have the mask, you see these little spots inside the image that we do not want on the thumbnail, well, that we don't want on this cutout. What I'm going to do is take them out, and usually how I go about doing this is I hit P on my keyboard to go back to the pen tool, and I kind of trace around as you see me doing. So I'll use this as an example. Alright, so now that I connected the dots, just want to right click, make selection once again, and what I'm going to do is hit G on my keyboard, and make sure you go to the paint bucket tool, make sure the color is black, and you just want to click on that like you saw me do. So I'm going to be doing that around the whole image. For this part right here, I'm actually going to use a brush, so I'm going to go over to my brush up here, or you can just hit B on your keyboard as a shortcut. But just put your hardness at 0 on the brush, and you want to basically just brush that out of the image. Make sure the color is on black, and you could just do as I do. Now I'm gonna fix these other parts, and I'll be back with y'all once I'm done. Alright, so now we got that off of the image. What we can attempt at doing is going to brightness and contrast and add some brightness to the image. And I know I did that pretty quick, but basically what I did was just went down here, select brightness and contrast, and create a clipping mask. And I know your workspace might not look similar to mine, but basically to create a clip mask, you'll just right click on that and then create one. I'm gonna go to these properties and just up the brightness by a little bit. Since this image already has good lighting, it really doesn't need that much brightness. But I know some images vary, so this is something I would definitely think about doing when making a thumbnail like this, just adding brightness and contrast to it. All right, so after adding brightness and contrast, what I want to do now is hit Control J on this layer, and we can double click this and name it 1 so we can know what layer it is. And we'll go down here, right click, delete this layer mask. And now that we done that right there, what we want to do is bring in this speed image. We'll hit Control C on this, come over here, hit Control V, and what we want to do is just make it smaller. And I will find a size for this right here. I probably have it about that tall right there, and move it over some, probably about right here. All right, so now we basically had a base for the thumbnail. What we're gonna do is go over here to speeds image, and we're gonna go to filter, camera raw filter, and instead of putting the same settings on here, we're gonna go back inside the camera raw filter and add new settings, because the noise reduction and sharpening will vary, because some images already are smoother than others, and some of them already have different settings. So what we'll do is just go over here, add some noise reduction to smooth it out a little bit more, and then we'll add a lot of sharpening. So you kind of want this level of sharpening right here. This is kind of what you're looking for when you do stuff like this. So add a little bit of noise reduction, some sharpening, and let's see, that should be pretty good right there. All right, so now that we have this image right here, what we want to do is just go ahead and cut this whole image out. So I'll speed this part up, and I'll be back with y'all once I'm done.
Hey, that probably take her.
Ooh, yeah, make hits.
Alright, so now we're done cutting out speed and Ronaldo. What we want to do is right click, make selection, and we just want to go down here, create a mask. And now that we created our mask, we're gonna have to do the same thing we did to the image on the left. So we'll just zoom in and take, well, I'm gonna zoom in and take out some of these bad spots, and I'll be back with y'all. Alright, so now that we have this, what we can do now is let's see, so we'll take this image that we have for the background, put a mask on it, and what we want to do is be on our keyboard to go to the brush, make sure the color is black, and we kind of just want to shade all of this area out right here. All right, see how we're doing that? So now we shaded that area out right there. What we want to do is go to the image of speed right here, hit Control J on it, go on here, delete layer mask, and we want to do something like that. All right, so now that we have that right there, we just want to take this image, this background right here, and put it above speed. And now that we have that, we'll just shade this in with our brush. Remember I told y'all to add a mask to it, so we'll shade this little area right here back in like so. And now that we shade it in, we can go over here to speed, add some brightness and contrast, create a clipping mask, of course, by clicking that right there. And after we add a little bit of brightness to the image, we also can hit Control J on that and take the brightness down here to the background and create a clipping mask on that. Now that we have that on the background, we can go to filter, blur, and add some blur to the background right here. Add like 0.9, and that should be okay. All right, so now we have this. What I think I'm gonna do is move this like the whole image over to the left a little bit, so we can get a more of speed on the image. So we'll just drag all of this stuff over. And if you wonder how I do that, what I did was hold Control, select all the layers one by one, and just drag it over to the left with my arrows on my keyboard. All right, so now that we have this, we finally can really get started on the thumbnail. So the first thing I want to do is go on this image right here, go to inner shadow, and add some inner shadow to him. So I'll just mess with the distance a little bit, and also mess with the sides, and we'll do something like this right here. And I'll probably keep the opacity looking like that. And now we'll go over to speed, also add an inner shadow on him, and we'll mess with the distance once again. And let's see, I will probably do something like that right there. So now we have the inner shadow on both of them. The next thing we can do is add a new layer onto the image. Hit B on our keyboard to go to the brush, go to color picker, make sure the color is white, and we're gonna want to go above the rock over here. We'll go above him and click with the brush like so, and make sure the hardness on your brush is on 0. You can go up here and check like that. So we'll add 2 little dots on the image, go to screen, lower the opacity a little bit, but keep it something like that, and then lock the layer. After that, we'll go behind him, hit B on our keyboard once again, and just add a little bit of glow like so, just something like this right here. Now we have that, we can keep it like this right here, and we don't have to put screen on there if you don't want to, but I'll just do that and lock that layer. So now what I want to do is go over to speed and do the same thing. Wherever you see empty spot set, just hit B on your keyboard to go to the brush. Make sure the color white is selected on the color picker, and just fill in those little spots right here. You definitely want to put screen on this and lower the opacity, but have it to where you can see it just a little bit. And once you feel like it looks good and it's visible, you can lock that layer. And as for the background right here, we also want to add some blur to that, so we'll just go to filter, Gaussian blur, and we'll keep the same settings by hitting that, which was 0.9. And right here I did have this line, so when you move the image over, you may have like a result as to where the inner shadow like of the image you cut out might not be far enough, so I just had to fix this real quick. Most of y'all won't have to worry about that, so don't kind of get confused about what I just did. So next thing I'm gonna do is go to brightness and contrast, and what I'm gonna do is add some contrast to the image. Now contrast is very important making these type of thumbnails because it will make a difference and make it pop. I'm gonna put that around 38, but you definitely can see a difference. Now what I'm gonna do is go to vibrance and saturation, up the vibrance to about 6 and up the saturation to about 5. Now as for the background right here, I'm gonna go to blur, Gaussian blur, add a little bit more blur, probably about I'll say 0.5. And now what we're gonna do is make the text for the thumbnail. So we can hit T on our keyboard to go to the horizontal type tool, or just go over here and select it like so. First text I'm gonna do is the word W, and the font I'm using will be in the description below, but some of you may be able to read it. I'm gonna pull it up over here. So what I'm gonna do is just type the word W with using the font, and I'm gonna make it bigger like so. And what we're gonna do is drag it down here and put it behind speed. After that, we're gonna make it a reasonable size so people that are looking at the thumbnail can see it. So we'll do something like this right here. After that, we'll go in here, select color picker, or what you can do is go over here to this right here and select the color to white if you don't want to do that. But either way, we're gonna do something to make the color white. And now we're gonna do is go inside of the text, go to our blending options, add a stroke to the image, select the color of the stroke to be black, and we're gonna up the size on it, something like that. Now what we're gonna do is create a new group, put the stroke inside of that group, or put the text inside that group. And what we're gonna do now is make a drop shadow, and we're just gonna up the size on it, up the spread on it, and mess with the distance. But you definitely want to have some good size on it, and also mess with the opacity. Now we have that, we can make this text smaller, and you want to do something similar to this right here. And I'll probably just go back to the stroke, put it on about 8, and yeah, I have something like this. All right, so now we have that right there. We want to create another text, and this time we're gonna make this one say speed. So we'll just follow the same steps, go to the horizontal type tool, or either just hit T on your keyboard and type something. And now we're just gonna make this smaller, but this time we're gonna put this above everything, this text right here. So we'll just name the speed, like I said, put it about right here. And now what we want to do is already have our group, and we'll go to the stroke and keep it on 8, put it inside the group, add a drop shadow, and keep the same settings for earlier. And we'll probably see this color is in black, so we'll put that to black. Just add our size, spread, distance like so, and you should have something, you know, with something like that once you're done. And now that you're done doing that, you just want to go to the text and make sure that it is on bold instead of regular. So I forgot to do that. Just make sure it's on bold so it can stretch out a little larger. And we'll make sure we add a little exclamation point to the text, make this smaller like so, have it about right here. And I think that's pretty much the thumbnail. Now I'm gonna show y'all how to do the camera raw filter to make it look smooth, and make sure you say it worked. So we'll just hold shift from the top layer and click on the bottom layer, group everything, hit Control J, then hit Control E on the image, hit M on your keyboard to go to the rectangular marquee tool and drag it across the image like so. And you want to hit Control J, right click, convert to smart object, go to filter, and then camera raw filter. After you get in here, basically what you want to do is I'm gonna go to my favorite number 57 that I use on all of my thumbnails, and I'm gonna show you all the settings so you all can just copy the settings while I explain it. But basically what I did when I was messing around with this filter right here, I just did the texture and lower the shadows, so the texture really gonna make everything stand out, and then for the detail I add a little bit more sharpening, and there's a lot more stuff to it, but you can just pause the video and get the settings. I added a lot of stuff, color grading, everything in here, so just mess with those settings to your preference, but that's pretty much how I do it. And after I get out of here, what I do is go to topaz adjust, and I go to mild details, and this will also help making the thumbnail a little bit more crispy. So just like in here, I'll add some script to the thumbnail, not too much though because it's already very crispy as you can see, but add a little bit of that. I do about 98, and that's just Topaz Labs. And after, I go to filter, camera raw filter once again, and once I get back in here, what I would do is go to noise reduction, and I end up adding a lot of this right here. So zoom in, make sure we can see the difference on the thumbnail. Noise reduction, add a little bit of sharpening to it, and you really don't want to think too much about it when you do it, but just keep something like that right there. And that's pretty much how you make those type of thumbnails. To save your work, you just go to file, export as, and we'll just save this WSpeed 2, and it's pretty much how you make it. You feel me? If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and you're Dragon. Peace out.